Hi, it's me, Flatlander, and boy am I excited about what they're doing over at COJCOLDS with their new public relations and advertising campaign. It's just great stuff showing that Mormons are in fact normal, everyday people, and that Mormonism is mainstream and that it is not strange. And Mormonism is completely normal. And I'm going to help show just how normal Mormons really are. In Mormonism, we wear special underwear that we buy from our church. It has special symbols, little symbols that look like Masonic symbols. And some of our Mormon, very devout Mormon people never, ever take off their garments, even while bathing or having sex. See? Mormons are normal. Also, Mormons go to the temple where only good Mormons are allowed to go, and they get dressed up like this and they watch a movie. And it's always the same movie about Adam and Eve and a snake, and it's really cool stuff. Now these are perfectly normal movie watching clothes. Also, after the movie, Mormons make sacred signs that they make different ways. There's some of them, and you need to know these signs because if you don't know them, you can't get into heaven. This is just normal and mainstream, and it's not weird in any way. Also, sometimes while you're in the temple, they have you take this off and put it over on the other shoulder, or if it's over here, they have you put it over there or whatever. And then this bow, you have to turn it around to the other side too. You also have to take your shoes off and put them back on. Now this is all perfectly normal. It makes perfect sense. I want to also tell you about the secret handshakes. They call them tokens in the Mormon temple, and you have to be able to do this and give these secret handshakes, like this, different kinds, to God when you get to heaven. And if you can't give them to him, you can't get in. And again, this is normal and this is mainstream, and as Mormons, we want the people to know that we're normal and mainstream. Oh, one more thing. In addition to knowing the handshakes and how to interlock your fingers and all that stuff, you have to be able to give them the passwords that go with each of the handshakes. Now the first 3 of them are kind of easy. That 4th one, though, that's a tricky one. It's got stuff in there about your loins and about your belly button. I always thought that was kind of interesting that you talk to God about your belly button, but you got to do it, because if you don't tell God about your belly button, you can't get into heaven. Anyway, that's what you have to do to get into heaven, and it's normal and it's perfectly mainstream and perfectly normal, and we want everybody to know that Mormons are perfectly normal and perfectly mainstream. Also in the temple, they do washings and anointings. Now, for about 150 years, this washings and anointing stuff was informally referred to as the naked touching. Some people thought that the naked touching was the best part of temple ceremonies. Now, it was all completely normal. I don't want you getting crazy ideas. Usually the way it would work is you would go from one area to another being touched by different people. I'm not going to demonstrate, just use your imagination. A few years ago, they replaced the naked touching with touching in your special underwear. It's not really the same. It's perfectly normal, perfectly mainstream, and just another thing Mormons do in the temple is baptisms for the dead. Now, this completely normal and mainstream activity, Mormons particularly like to have 12 and 13-year-old children involved because it helps ingrain in their young minds how normal and mainstream Mormonism is by baptizing dead people. We've barely scratched the surface of how normal and mainstream Mormonism really is. But we're going to cover a lot more of how normal and mainstream Mormonism is in future videos. For now, however, please, 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 that's 3 pleases, share this video with everybody you know. We have to get the message out about just how normal and mainstream Mormons really are. Because if we don't, Mitt Romney won't have a chance of winning the election.
This has been a Flatlander production in association with the Moron Church of Latter-day Saints.